I'm Alex Bloomberg at Planet Money, and a while ago we had this idea. Make a t-shirt, and then follow that shirt around the world as it gets made. This, right here, crap. This is the shirt we made. And it's just an ordinary shirt. It's not made of organic cotton. It's not handmade in the United States. We wanted to tell the story of our clothes, the way the vast majority of our clothes are actually made. Because behind all of our clothes, behind this shirt, there is an entire world. And once you see that world, you realize there's nothing ordinary about a simple t-shirt. Our t-shirts started here, or near here anyway, on a cotton farm in the Mississippi Delta. America, it turns out, exports more cotton than any other country.
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
For about a century, America maintained its cotton dominance.
So each of these chapters leads with a video, and then we learn more information as you scroll down about the issue. And so we'll go to a kind of a fun one here for a second. This one's about machines.
Our cotton leaves the United States and goes around the world to Colombia, Indonesia, and Bangladesh, where it goes from plant to fabric, with barely a human being involved. Just lots and lots of cool machines, which we set to music. Our cotton first went to spinning factories like this one. Raw cotton is sucked up, laid down in big sheets, straightened, pulled into long feathery ropes, like an infinite ponytail.
Oh. All right. So, and what happens here is at the end of each video, automatically scrolls you in to a text section where you can learn more about the issue. And there's 5 of these chapters. All right, so it's a big goofy project. Yeah. Okay. Loco, it's huge. So how do we get there? Well, the first thing we did before they started actually reporting is our team went up to New York, where Planet Money works, and we ran through an exercise we do with every project.
¿Cómo todo empezó? El equipo de Brian fueron a New York, donde está Planet Works, y fueron a tener una reunión y empezar a hacer una lluvia de ideas cómo hacer este proyecto.
Right, and this is kind of like what someone asked Chris a question earlier about how you personalize, how you add emotion to data, and
sí, como usted preguntó a Chris, cómo se va a añadir emoción al proyecto.
And the way we like to think about it is the first thing we do is we ask ourselves, who's our audience, who are our users?
La cosa que nos gusta hacer es, la primera cosa que hacemos es preguntar, ¿quién es nuestra audiencia?
And what are their needs?
¿Cuáles son sus necesidades?
And then we figure out what to build. So we're always trying to answer someone's question they have about the story.
Y ahí intentamos responder la cuestión de estas personas.
So we did this for a day and wrote down lots of users and lots of needs, and then we started thinking about what we could make.
Entonces llegamos a muchos usuarios, hacemos muchas preguntas a distintos usuarios y llegamos en un día a aquel papelito con las preguntas que querían responder.
And when we started, I'm rushing through this process. There's a whole lot of stuff to talk about.
Hay muchas más cosas que no estoy hablando, pero
So after doing our exercises, we locked ourselves in a room, not because the project was a secret, but because even on a team of one person, communication is very difficult.
Después se cerraron, cuando ya tenían todo el proyecto más o menos diseñado, llegaron a la conclusión que, ok, vamos a cerrarnos aquí en una sala. Y no por cuestiones de queremos que sea una cosa secreta, pero por cuestiones de la comunicación de un equipo que sea solamente una persona es muy difícil. Entonces querían concentrarse y estar con una comunicación que fuera la más efectiva posible.
So besides locking ourselves in a room, we use lots of tools like Basecamp, which helped us coordinate tasks with the team in New York.
Se juntaron con Basecamp, que era un equipo en Nueva York para hacer la comunicación.
And we have a hard, fast rule on our team. We are vicious about tracking our tickets and our to-dos, which we use GitHub for.
Ellos son un poco obsesionados por traquear todas las cositas que tienen de hacer. Hacen así unos papellitos con las cositas que tienen de hacer y son muy obsesionados en hacerlos rápido y usan GitHub para traquear todas las partes del proceso.
The idea being that there's no secrets among the team. We're trying to create total transparency within our group.
Hay una transparencia total en el grupo para que no haya ningún secreto, para que toda la gente sabe lo que se está pasando a cada momento.
And we end up boring stuff. So we had like 100 hours of video, a shitload of photos and audio, and a ton of economic information to sort through. And we were trying to figure out how to transform that into a web native experience.
Entonces teníamos millares de horas de video, millones de fotos, un montón de información económica y la idea era cómo vamos a construir una historia que pueda ser consumida en la web, que sea nativa de la web.
Right. And because we felt what we knew we wanted to do, even though we'd never done a video project like this before.
Nunca hicimos un proyecto de video antes.
We knew we wanted to use each medium available to us, charts, text, video, photography, to their best purpose.
Sabíamos que queríamos usar cada uno de los elementos, de los charts, de los gráficos, de las fotos, de los videos, etc., en el mejor que podrían ofrecer.
And I guess I don't have any more slides. And especially photography. I mean, charts can tell you a great economic story, and text can explain things to you. But the power of video and photography that I learned during this process is its power to make you care. I cannot create empathy with a chart.
Gráficos de barras y pasteles pueden contarte una historia muy racionalmente, pero Brian acaba de aprender que fotografías y video te puede contar una historia que tú te importas, que te dice algo y que charts no te pueden hacer crear tanta amistad con los charts.
So a lot of my original ideas for how we present this story were quite different than what we ended up with.
Las ideas que Brian ha tenido inicialmente al final no fueron las usadas, pero han tenido muchas.
And I thought we'd have a lovely video with some ambient sound and then some text and then maybe a couple of videos inside. Really a lot more like what a lot of other people have been doing lately.
Está diciendo que al inicio pensaba que iba a tener un video con música ambiente y después abajo más texto y pequeñitos videos. Otras cosas como otras personas están haciendo.
Yeah, and the team actually, they convinced me otherwise, that what we needed to do was play to our strengths. This guy, our narrator, NPR is really good at narrating stories, and so this piece needed to be driven by a narrative and by a narrator.
Su equipo consiguió convencer a Brian que necesitaban usar la cosa más fuerte que NPR tiene, que es la narración. Como radio es muy fuerte vocalmente. Entonces tener este tío como narrador era muy fuerte porque conocía toda la narrativa.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time looking really closely at work that other teams have done similar to ours.
Entonces estaban mirando cosas que otros equipos han hecho parecidas con su trabajo para inspirarnos.
We mapped their flows. I took out the Firestorm slide. It was one of the slides. I didn't do it on purpose. And we ended up creating something. Let's see. I'll stop. Have I said anything yet? No. Okay. The challenge we really found was how to keep the user moving through the story, watching the video, reading the text, watching the next video, how to suck you through this app.
Lo principal objetivo era cómo mantener el usuario ahí, empezando desde el inicio y seguir, sacarlo para dentro de la narrativa.
Yeah. And what we ended up, the structure that we came up with, most of it stayed in place, but as we started conducting user testing, we changed a lot of the details.
La estructura que inicialmente planearon se mantuvo, pero así que empezaron a hacer testes con usuarios, cambiaron un montón de cosas.
Yeah, we used to have sort of interstitials on pages like this, our videos. We added text to our videos to tell you where you were physically in the story.
Tenían, I don't know what to say, interstitials?
Yeah, in between screens.
Tenían intersticios entre videos, pero al final no funcionaba, y texto diciendo qué parte estás viendo.
Yeah. And there was even one story, there's one of the text sections that we threw out completely. We had written it, it was in the can, but our audience, when they watched the video and read the text, it clashed. It didn't make sense to them.
Tenían un montón de video abajo de un montón de texto abajo de un video que después de los usuarios empezaran a mirar el video y después leer el texto no hacía sentido. Entonces lo botaron en la basura.
Yeah. And we even added a whole new video, which was the introduction I showed you at the beginning.
Y al final introdujeron un nuevo video que fue lo que mostró al inicio.
So what I'm getting at with that, I guess, is that we're thinking through this idea of something we're calling editorial usability, maybe?
Una usabilidad editorial es lo que están pensando.
The idea that, as a software developer, I'm used to the idea that user testing would change the interactions within my application.
Como desarrollador web está acostumbrado que al final de un usuario usar la experiencia, al final van a cambiar un montón de cosas.
But we were when we sort of looked back at the project, all our minds were blown that we were changing a significant amount of the content as well.
Pero cuando miraran después de testearlo, miraran que al final van a cambiar un montón de contenido y sus mentes se explotaran.
So, 3 things to say. Design for your audience, know your users, do everything in your power on your team to communicate as frequently as possible, and maybe the content is also a user interface. It's a new idea.
Okay, 3 cosas que he aprendido. Conoce tu audiencia, no empieces haciendo nada sin conocer tu audiencia. Y hace todo lo que puedas para comunicar bien con tu equipo. Mismo que sea demasiado, pero mejor demasiado que de menos. Y recuérdate que por veces el contenido puede ser una forma de interagir con la noticia.
That's all I got.
Es todo lo que tengo.
We can watch the videos.
Preguntas? Do you want to show some videos?
We could watch some videos.
I think some
Do you
are
want to see
very
some?
sexy, we should see.
You want to watch the trailer or watch one of
like
the?
Marshmallow?
Okay, we watched a couple.
Yo tuve la suerte hace menos de un mes de estar visitando Brian en National Public Radio cuando estaba haciendo el proyecto, entonces estaban haciendo estas escuelas y a mí me encanta el proyecto. A nivel de videos está súper fuerte.
At Brian Boyer. That's it. Yep. Here, go watch this one.
Our t-shirts got from the factories in Colombia and Bangladesh back home to us. And this, a shipping container. This one right there, that's ours. And containers are the unsung innovation that makes the global economy possible. Containers came on the scene in the 1960s, and they made shipping, which used to be a huge pain in the ass, much more efficient. The container is loaded onto our ship, captained by this guy. The ship leaves Colombia. A week later, it arrives in Miami. Our container with our shirts inside then gets loaded back onto a truck. And then onto a train, where it makes its way north. And this whole journey, thousands of miles, ships, trains, and trucks, cost just pennies per shirt. A tiny fraction of the cost of the raw materials in our shirt. Far less than the cost to print the design on our shirt. And a drop in the bucket compared to what it costs our shirts to take the final leg of the journey, from our warehouse to you. So here's to you, shipping container, the humble hero of the global economy.
Yeah, I don't know. You won't watch this, but this is my favorite photography from the piece. We researched and found these parallel photographs of the same jobs in the U.S. 100 years ago. And this is a story of a global economy, but also a story of stages of development that nations go through, and that Bangladesh is at sort of the bottom of. Colombia is somewhere in the middle, and the U.S. is sort of shot past. Anyway. Questions?
¿Preguntas ahí?
La pregunta es, si yo fuera un periodista que vengo de medios escritos y quisiera trabajar con él, ¿qué tipo de habilidades necesito tener?
If I were a journalist that come from the written media. Oh no, it's okay. Go ahead.
If he's a writing journalist, what abilities does he need to have to work with you?
I mean, we worked with a lot with. There was quite a bit of the story was written. It was our team working with radio reporters and writers who blog. We like one of the things that. I can stop for a second. But I think it's essential. It's one of the rules on our team that we don't come up with projects. We are here to work with the reporters and the editors.
Una regla muy importante de ellos es que no son ellos que inventan proyectos, son los editores que llegan y piden cómo hagamos esta historia.
The metaphor that I'm trying right now is that we're like the rhythm section in a funk band.
Ellos son el ritmo en una banda de funk.
And it's not that like we're not important. I mean, we could be the best rhythm section in the world. We could be James Brown's rhythm section.
No quiere decir que no sean importantes, porque pueden ser James Brown del ritmo y ser muy buenos.
But I'm not James. You're James.
La pregunta es, ¿por qué se decidió financiar el proyecto vía Kickstarter? Y cuando hubo tanto apoyo, ¿cómo modificó ese proyecto? Es decir, cuando se duplicó el presupuesto original, el monto original, ¿cómo modificó eso el desarrollo del proyecto?
The question is, why did you choose to get it as a Kickstarter? And once you got so much money, how did you change the project to fit the money you got?
Well, I didn't choose to make it a Kickstarter. That was the Planet Money team. But I mean, it definitely made us free to be more ambitious. We sent more reporters and more videographers to the places we were going to go.
La escolha de hacer Kickstarter no fue de ellos, fue de la parte económica del periódico. Y la parte de tener más plata permitió enviar más reporteros, ser más ambiciosos en el proyecto.
But we didn't spend all that money.
Claro, pero ¿significó algún cambio en la estructura también o simplemente en la cantidad de contenido?
Did it mean any change on a structure or only on the amount of the content?
I think our team, my team that helped build the visual presentation, wouldn't have spent so much time on the piece if it hadn't become so high profile.
Su equipo no habría despendido tanto tiempo si no fuera tan high profile. How long did it take to complete from head to toe?
Well, they had the idea 3 years ago. They did the Kickstarter about less than a year ago. And once the reporting and the build process started, it was about 3 months.
Tuvieron la idea hace 3 años, el inicio de este año, o hace un año, empezaron Kickstarter y el proyecto totalmente fue hecho en 3 meses.
About a month of reporting and then 2 months of construction.
Un mes de reportero y 2 meses de construcción.
Groovy. Oh.
Sí, una más.
Y como propician pasa con el que desechar ideas, alguien no está de acuerdo, está aferrado a algo y no sabe muy bien en la comunicación cómo se supera ese momento de esto va y esto no va.
She's asking, as you put so much effort into communications, what happens when someone does not agree? Are you stuck in the idea that no, some people don't agree? How do you deal with that?
That never happens. We try to have frank conversations, but I was overruled many times on this project, but maybe not overruled. I was convinced otherwise, but I do believe that projects like this are not a democracy. A democracy is a very good living arrangement for roommates and a very nice way to run a country, but a very piss-poor way to get a project out the door.
Brian, a pesar de ser el jefe, muchas veces fue convencido de hacer las cosas de una forma distinta, pero para él piensa que la democracia no es la forma ideal para trabajar en este tipo de proyectos. Puede ser para las casas, para roommates, para países, pero para estos proyectos no.
Yeah. I mean, someone needs to decide.
Alguien tiene que tomar decisiones.
Generalmente NPR incluye, después del producto final, incluye también una sección o una nueva sección donde el público participa y genera contenido propio. En este caso, ¿se pensó esa parte? ¿Se va a incorporar?
He says, usually NPR has a part at the end where you guys allow people to contribute. Does this project allow people to contribute at the end?
Does it ever? Well, here, should we watch one more video?
Yes, please.
No, we should go home. Do you want to go home?
No,
This is the tearjerker. Okay.
¿Qué te gustaría a ti que esa gente que quiera comprar tus camisetas, que sepa de ti? ¿Qué te gustaría que yo?
¿Qué hay detrás de esta camiseta? Es un mundo.
বেশিরভাগ স্বপ্নে দেখি যে বড় বড় নদী পার হয়ে যায়, মাঝখানে যাই নৌকা অথবা ডিঙি যেটা যেটা ডুবে যায়, আমি এটার মধ্যে থেকে সাঁতার কাটে নদীটা পার হয়ে যায়।
Una persona con sueños, con esperanzas, que quiere salir adelante, personas con muchas necesidades, humildes, también con muchos sueños.
That's the tearjerker one. And then we've asked our audience who got the shirts to send us Instagrams of them wearing the shirts. So that's our little user-generated piece. You can find, I'm in here somewhere. But I don't know how many we've received so far, but it's in the thousands, I think, now. Yeah.
Amazing. ¿Alguna pregunta más?
Done. Gracias.